Because if I come and give you 22,000 shillings today, are you thinking World Bank? No. You're thinking about the person who was behind the giving me the money. You're thinking about the person who comes and says, well, they build one-bedroom houses in a place where they weren't there before. So, exactly. But the populist agenda is carried out by people. Yeah. And so it's on the minds of people who say, well, if you're going to keep us in this idea or this bubble of a miracle coming in the future, or things that you can drop, morsels that you can give me to keep me engaged, and it's actually retrogressive in nature, then that is why we must remove you.
Yeah.
And that's the idea that comes into people's minds. We must remove you because you're keeping us encapsulated by this thing which is not reality.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, you give me 22,000 shillings, that's great, but you're going to have to pay it back. Where is it going to come from? Every Kenyan today owes 204,000 shillings.
Yes, yeah. But the point of this populist politics is this, that, and part of the argument I wish to make is that from 2013 to 2022, we have voted in the same government. It's just a matter of degrees. Why the same government? Because their policies are the same. They are still populist. It's just that one is rabidly, obviously more corrupt than the other. But the dysfunction in terms of the policies that they are implementing is the same. Because you heard what Nyakera said. It was the Big Four agenda that came and interrupted the Vision 2030. Vision 2030 wasn't a whole host of many projects. It was, let us systematically grow. We talk about going to Singapore.
No,
I'm going to bring it because Singapore grew because of the port.
Yeah.
So actually what Nyakera was saying is that they had a vision. If you open up the port to the inland, and if you then do the Lapset corridor, you open up again the coastline to the northern partners. Frontier, You're then now opening up the development corridor so that you concentrate your money there and you grow. What did Big Four do? It came and disrupted all of that and began competing. So suddenly you have Vision 2030, you have Big Four projects. Now we have, on top of Big Four, we've got better. So we cannot do development that is populist, that ideas are just depending on, if William Ruto goes out in 2027, are we going to get another agenda?
So what stands in the way?
This is what is eating us.
That's my question.
Populism.
So what stands in the way? Because the populist agenda is carried out by individuals, by cartels, by groups of people. The eating occurs because something is engaged, someone. And so that's why it's in my head here that in order to that development,
we need to diagnose this problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are Kenyans directly involved in it? It doesn't matter who you vote in, and that's where the politics comes into play here. That it matters who you put in the position of leadership. It matters the person who's going to keep you engaged with these little morsels where you could be having the entire meal.
But the problem we have is the only seat we seem to concentrate on is
the presidency.
And I'm saying it starts from the very bottom, whereby the MCA, who comes and tells you that, oh, by the way, we're going to make sure we put... No, it is you at that point, right there.
Look at
how many of us know? How many of us know of the 85 wards? And I keep saying of the 85 wards in Nairobi, for example. Do you know what the member of the county assembly is supposed to be doing?
Do you know your ward or your AMCA to start with? Because this is the person that you're supposed to be meeting on a daily basis. Yet we do not know the kind of people you vote in. Most of us go and say tunapiga suti, simply because we have followed this ideology that is being pushed by the president or the presidential candidate, and we say because we've bought what the presidential candidate is pushing, automatically that trickles down without us interrogating these other officers that are critical in ensuring that we get the kind of leadership that we deserve. We talk about all these funds, right? Like Hustler Fund was around 50-something billion, right?
Yeah.
50-something billion, if had been spent in the country today, we would have enough schools. We would have all these projects, manufacturing that is ongoing. Today, kids would be going to school easily. We would be having more youth into these spaces. But then again, look at that, then look at Nyota Fund and many other funds that have
CDF.
come in, CDF and all these. If all this money was put in a basket and say, based off our vision, if it's 2030, this is what we want to do. If it's manufacturing, we'll put this money into manufacturing. We'll put this into industrial parks. We'll put this into empowerment of the youth. Not the empowerment that we know, but empowering the youth in the actual word and mean this. Where would be as a country? We're talking about 17 billion shillings for the president to just fly from Nairobi to Kisumu, from Kisumu to Luanda, 17 billion shillings for the president. What can 17 billion shillings do to Aseto to ensure that we get these services? We don't ask these tough questions as wananchi as when we vote.
Absolutely.
Because when we go to the next election, we will not ask the president, we gave you 17 billion shillings. What is the return on investment? Because it is our money.
Those are big questions. And we actually want to hear from people this morning. Now, with all of those conversations happening, the spending that's taking place is not going towards these things. The spending that's taking place is going towards other aspects.
Yeah.
So we'll come back and take your calls this morning. Or are we saying, okay, it's okay, the government is spending